All right. A very warm welcome to all of you for the last session, but not the least, because I'm going to tell you that this session is going to be one of the most wonderful session because it comes straight from one of my seniors at NIPER. So today, the expert speaker that we have with us is Dr. Ankita Sood, who is a patent and IP research analyst at Gravy. Ma'am has completed her PhD in pharmacology and toxicology from NIPER Mohali, and she believes of turning pharma science into IP strategies because publish and perish आप सभी लोगों ने ये सुना होगा, but very less of them are getting translated towards a patent or being utilized in the industrial applications. So today Ankita ma'am is going to tell us about the journey of how do you file a patent, what is a patent, how can you turn your pharma innovations into IP. So, without any further delay, I would like to welcome our expert speaker because definitely आज के इस सेशन के बाद आपको इसका क्वेश्चन का आंसर मिलेगा. Who are you? Are you a researcher? And if you're a researcher, what kind of researcher you are? And do you like getting your innovation getting published? So today is 26th June and one of the last concluding sessions of the Pharma Symposium 2026, which had more than 20 plus states participants enrolling and more than 10 plus expert speakers being a part of this amazing session. So handing over the session to you, Ankita ma'am. You are good to go. You can present the screen and the stage is all yours.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. So first of all, thank you, Dr. Payaam, for inviting me today. It is a pleasure to be here and interact with all of you. So my name is Ankita, as Payaam already tell that I am currently working as a research analyst at Gravy. So let me share my screen first. Give me a second. Yes. So before we begin, I would like to ask you a simple question. Like, how many of you ever thought of becoming a patent analyst or working in a intellectual property? Can you raise your hands? Okay, so I didn't see, but I usually see only a few hands, and that's completely normal because when I was a pharmacy student, I also knew very little about this career path. Most pharmacy students think their options are limited to industry, research, hospital, pharmacy, academia, or regulatory affairs. But today, I want to introduce you to another exciting career where you can use your scientific knowledge without working in a laboratory every day. And that career is patent and intellectual property research. So today's session is titled Turning Pharma Innovations into IP Strategies. But don't worry if terms like patent, intellectual property, IP strategy sound unfamiliar. By the end of this session, you will understand what they mean and how they're connected to the medicines we use every day. So every medicine starts with an idea. Here you can see in a screen, like it starts with an idea or discovery in a laboratory. Then this idea is drilled through research where scientists test whether it is safe or effective. And once the invention is truly new, it can be protected by a patent, which gives the inventor an exclusive rights for a limited period. After that, the product can be developed, approved, and finally reach the market where it benefits the patient. So as a patent analyst, my role is to support this journey by helping companies to identify innovations, protect them through patents, and make informed business decisions. So today I will show you what patents are, why are they important, what patent analysts actually do every day, and how a pharmacy student can build a career in this field. So let's start with this. Like, why are we talking about patents? So let's start with the very first question. Like, suppose if you discover a new anti-diabetic drug today, So how will you stop others from copy it tomorrow? Imagine you are a scientist. You spend 10 to 15 years of your life making one new diabetes medicine. And not 10 days, it's 10 to 15 years. So you spend money, and this money is also used around 8,000 crores for a drug. So before it ever reaches a patient, so this amount is very huge, and also it takes around 10 to 15 years. And here is a painful part. Like most medicines fail. For every drug that reach a patient, thousands die quietly in the lab. So imagine you survive all of that and you finally launch your drug. And the very next month, another company copies it and sell it at 1/10 of your price. How would you feel? Cheated, right? So all your work has gone. Now that one feeling is the reason the patents exist. So a patent is simply a law that says for some years, nobody is allowed to copy your invention. So now before we go deeper into the patents, let's get your basic crystal clear. So let's start with innovations. So what is innovation? So innovation is just a new idea that solves a real problem. That's it. And here the good news is that in pharma, innovation is not only about discovering a brand new molecule. Look at the screen. Here you can see that a new formulation is innovation. The same drug with a smarter delivery is an innovation. A sustained release tablet that you take once a day instead of 3 times, that also invention. An inhaler or an auto injector, that is an innovation. Even taking an old drug and using it for a new disease, that is repurposing, that is also a innovation. So you don't need to discover the next penicillin-like drug to be an inventor. A smarter, cheaper, or easier version of something that already exists, it also counts. So when you create something new like this, you want to own it, and that brings us to a very important term, that is intellectual property rights. So if I break its name, you can see that intellectual means of the mind, and property means something you own, like a house or a car. So intellectual property is simply the property that lives in your mind and an idea you can own. Now, here is the magic that you cannot touch this idea. You cannot ever touch your idea. You can't hold it in your hand, and yet the law lets you own it, protect it, rent it out, and even sell it, exactly like a house. Look at the simple chain here. You have a mind, like you generate an idea, and this idea ultimately leads to a asset. So this thought in your mind becomes something that is valuable the moment the law agrees to protect it. And in pharma, there are various things that are intellectual property, like a drug molecule, a brand name, a manufacturing process, and a pharma research software. So even the software used in drug research, all of it can be owned. Now, the intellectual property right is not a single term, but it is a combination of various types. So let's discuss the types of intellectual property rights. So there are total 5 types. The first one is patent. So patent protects our invention, a new drug molecule. The next is a trademark that generally protects our brand identity, like paracetamol. For paracetamol, there are different brand names like Crocin, Dolo 650. So these are the trademarks. If I'm talking about the copyright, so copyright, it protects the written content, like the information leaflet inside a medicine box. The fourth one is a trade secret, that is a confidential recipe kept locked away. It means like the manufacturing process. So this can also be protected under the trade secret. And the last is a design. So design means the shape of the tablets, that is a spherical shape, or even the shape of various inhalers and device. This can also be protected under design patent. Now, out of all these tools, the patent is a powerhouse for pharma. So let's understand exactly what a patent is. So, a patent is a deal between you and the government. The deal work like this. The government says, tell the world exactly how your invention works and hide nothing. In return, for 20 years, we will stop anyone else from using it without your permission. And that's the bargain. You share your secret and you get a 20-year shield. During those 20 years, look what you control. So here you can see that these are the 4 things that you can control. You are the only one who can make it, use it, sell it, and license it. License means you will rent it out to another company for money, right? So now let me show you why pharma companies fight so hard for this 20-year shield, why it matters. So look at this funnel. This is real brutal story of making a drug. You start by testing about 10,000 compounds. Of those, only 250 are good enough for early testing or preclinical trials. And only about 10 reach the human trials or clinical trials. And at the very end, just one become a medicine and you can buy in a pharmacy. So you can see that if it takes 10 to 15 years for a drug, right? And 8,000 crore rupees for getting a one drug molecule. Also, fewer than 12 out of every 100 drugs that reaches a trial ever get approved. So now the 20-year patent makes total sense, right? It is only realistic way a company can earn back all that money and afford to try again. So that's why the patents are very important in pharma domain. So here is a journey of pharma innovation. So every successful medicine walks through this same pathway. It starts as a research idea, then laboratory work, then a proof of concept where the science finally looks promising. And now look carefully at step 4, the patent filing. Notice where it sits. It comes before the clinical trials, before the product is even proven in patient. And why so? Why not wait until the drug is fully ready? So the reason is, in most of the world, the rule is simple. The first person to file get the patent, not the first to invent. So if you wait too long, or if you publish your work in journal first and someone else can file before you and take your idea. Protect first, publish later. So it means that you should file before this information or this innovation will be publicly available. Then you will go for a clinical trial once your patent is granted. Then after there is a regulatory approval and then you can commercialize your product. So this is a normal journey of pharma innovation. Patent is very powerful, but not everything can be patented. So let's see what qualifies for a patent to be granted. So in pharma, we can patent so many things like a new molecule. If any brand new or novel active chemical entity is there, you can patent. You can file a patent. For a new formulation, you can file a patent. For drug delivery system, you can file a patent. Manufacturing process can be patented. The combination of two drugs can be patented. Any new stable crystal form, any medical device, or any new use of a old drug, that can also be patented. Now, what cannot be patented, it is also very important. So, 4 things that can never be patented. 1, the discovering something that already exists in nature. Finding a plant is not the same as inventing it. If you find something like some plant, it cannot be patented because it is already exist in a nature. The second thing is the existing or prior knowledge. So anything that is already known to public cannot be patented. The third thing, a scientific principle, like a law of nature. You cannot patent the gravity. And the fourth thing is a traditional knowledge that communities have used for generations. So India has 2 very famous examples and every pharmacy student should know them. Turmeric or haldi. and neem. Both were wrongly patented in abroad, and India fought back and got those patents cancelled. So this is a traditional knowledge that we already know, and it can never be patented. Now, this is a very important part in any patent, that is the requirement. So what are the requirements for a patent to be granted? So first thing is novelty. Novelty means it must be genuinely new, not shown everywhere in a world, not disclosed anywhere in a world before filing, and never before seen molecule. So it should be completely new. The second is inventive step, means it must be non-obvious, not an obvious tweak any skilled chemist would try. Means if someone changes the color of tablet, it is not an inventive step. It is something that is very obvious. So this kind of thing is also not patented. The third one, it should have an industrial applicability. It should be useful and makeable. So these are the three basic requirements for a patent to be granted. Now, what is the patent life cycle? How it works? If you have any idea, the first thing that you do is filing. So you write an application, you file that application in, if in India, that is Indian Patent Office, you can file this application, USPTO, EPO, wherever you want to file this idea. Then it will take 18 months to publish this idea. So after 18 months, your application will be published, and then you will request for the examination. Now, examiner examine whole patent, and examiner check three basic things: novelty, the second is non-inventive or non-obvious step, and the third one is industrial applicability. If your patent qualifies all these three things, then your patent will grant. After that, you can commercialize this product, and the expiry of the patent is 20 years, as you know. And after expiry, generic manufacturers can legally make the same drug, which is why medicines become far cheaper. So this is the pharmaceutical patent cycle. Now, move on to the next, that is a patent document understanding. So skeleton of patents, I will show you in Google as well, so that it will be easy for you to understand how patent looks like. So here you can search Google patents. And open this browser. This is a Google patent site where you can search anything. Like here, if I'm talking about sustained release metformin, you will get thousands of or 1 lakh patents over this, because there is so much research in this area. And when you open a patent, there is no abstract, but in most of the patents, you will start with the abstract part. Here you can see, like, this is the title of the patent: composition and methods for treating the metabolic disorder. So it is very similar to the research paper that we have already. We read so many research papers. The same here also, there is a title and the abstract. Abstract give you a summary of the patent, like what exactly in this patent is. The next is a description. So this is the whole invention. Here, every single detail of the patent is written. Every single step, every trial, everything is mentioned here in detail. So this is also important part of patent, but the most important part is claim. So this is the claim. So whatever written in this claim part is actually patented. It means you will get patent on the claim, whatever written in a claim. So these are the main important part of the patent. This is a patent number. You can see here, its priority date is there. It means when this patent is filed, and its publication is in 2018. Then finally the patent is granted in 2020. So this is a normal skeleton of a patent. Now, Now let's move to the patent strategy in pharma. So companies never rely on one patent. They layer the several. They layer several to extend and deepen the protection. If there are several layers, there will be more protection to the patent. No one will, invalidate your patent. So these are the different layers. Means in only one patent, you can also patent a molecule, the main core active ingredient. Second thing, you can also patent the formulation, the protect the specific dosage form or the delivery system. The third thing, you also protect the manufacturing process of the patent. And the fourth one, the combination patent, means you protect the pairing with another drug for better results. So together these layers form a patent thicket, means making the drug far harder for the rival to copy. Now this is a very interesting thing, how patent companies work. Like, what does the patent analyst do? Is there any question? Someone raised hand. Hello, am I audible? Okay. So here you can see that. So patent analysts actually work so many things here. The first thing, the searches. This is very important. So patent companies search various prior art for their clients. And if I move on, you can see the patent consulting firm is a team of researchers who answer the patent questions for other companies. They don't make drugs, but they make decisions clear. Why? Because what happened in patent companies, like there are some clients and the clients have some questions for us. Like a company has a question, is our idea new? Can we launch this product safely? So we as an analyst search millions of patents and papers and then analyze whether the prior art exists in this domain or not. If not, then we suggest the client that yes, this idea is new and you can launch your product. If not, then we also tell the client like your idea is not new and we'll give some suggestion, like you can change your idea in that way, so it will be helpful or you will get your patent easily. So we will get or we will give a clear answer to our client with a report that contains full evidence and the recommendation. And why the pharma companies hire us? Because in pharma companies already there are brilliant scientists, and so why they're paying us or outside firms for this work? So there are 5 honest reasons. The first one is specialized skill. Searching millions of documents well in its own craft. So a bench of chemists or scientists doesn't do it every day, and we do. The second thing, we save time. A dedicated team delivers in a day, while an internal scientist is busy with their own research. The third is a neutral eyes. An inventor is in love with their own idea, so they often miss the patent that blocks them. So an outsider sees clearly. And the fourth is costly databases. So we have some databases like Orbit, Derwent, and these are in-house databases are very expensive. So firms like us keep them in-house. That's why the companies hire us. And the fifth and the most important one is de-risk big bets. So when one launch can risk crores of rupees, spending a little on search is a cheap insurance. So many companies hire us. And what happened next? Let me walk through this. So here, there are 4 types of searches that we as a patent analyst doing in our company. The first one is prior art search. It means what already exists on this topic. The second is a patentability search. Is our idea new enough to file? The third is freedom to operate. Can we launch without infringing? And the fifth one is invalidity search. Can this patent be knocked out? So let us discuss one by one, like what work we are doing as a patent analyst. So first one is prior art search. So what does prior art means? In simple word, Prior art is anything that has already been made public before your invention. It can be a patent, it can be a research paper, a book, a conference presentation, or even information available on the internet. So, prior art search simply means finding everything that has already been published about an idea before deciding whether it is new or patentable. So let me explain with this with example because it's very interesting. Imagine you have invented a herbal cream and you believe it is completely new. But before spending time and money on filing a patent, because filing a patent is not cheap in many countries. In US, it costs huge amount. So that's why before filing, many companies came to us and did this type of search, that is prior art search. So before spending money and time on filing a patent, the first question we generally ask, has someone already done this? And to answer, we search patents from different countries, scientific research papers, and other published documents. Maybe we find another company that has already patented the same cream, and in that case, filing the same patent wouldn't be possible because examiner will reject your patent because it is not new, already there in a market. But suppose we discover that no one has used that particular combination of ingredient and that specific formulation, then there is a good chance that your invention could be patentable. And that is why a prior art search is always the first step before filing a patent. Now, who usually asks for this type of search? Like R&D scientists, inventors, business teams. So before investing money in developing a product, they want to know whether the idea is truly new or not. And how we can help them. First thing, we break the invention into the concept. Like we read their whole invention. We understand the concept behind that. For example, instead of searching only like cream, we identify the important keywords like topical formulation and what are the active ingredient in that. Let's suppose um, it's a cream for psoriasis, so we can also search for psoriasis. We collect the synonyms, we collect the classification, and we make the strings. Then we search on patents, on journals, everywhere. So if we get anything on that particular invention, then it will help the client. So finally, we screen and shortlist the all relevant hits and summarize whatever we found, whatever is already exist, and make a report. And this report then will be sent to the client. So this is the prior art search. This is how we work. Now next is patentability search. Now this type of search is more focused. Why? Because if client want to patent or file a patent, the client came to us and asked us, is it new or is it non-obvious? Now what we do? The same thing. We understand the patent, we understand the concept, what is in this patent and what is this technology about. We collect the various synonyms. We use our mind in various ways. Like sometimes we cannot get the prior art simply. Like the words are also different. One word has several synonyms, and we have to cover all so that we should not miss anything. Right? So here also, the two things are important. The first is novelty. So the client asks, is this invention new? In other words, has someone already published or patented the same idea? And second, is it non-obvious? This means the invention should not be a small or obvious change that any skilled person could easily do. Same as I have already told you, you change the color of the tablet or something like that. It's very, obvious. Anyone can do that. So imagine someone invent a tablet that dissolves in 10 seconds instead of 20 seconds by using a completely new formulation. If no one has done it before and the improvement is not obvious, it can pass both the gates and this patent is get patented. And if invention is both new and non-obvious, we move ahead. If it fails either one of these tests, it usually better to rethink or improve the invention before filing. So this kind of reports we are giving to the client. We are giving suggestions to the client, like whether the client should go for a patent it or not. The next is freedom to operate. So this is another very important type of search. So unlike patentability search, where we think before filing whether this patent is novel or non-obvious or not. But here in freedom to operate, we do something different. Forget about everything like novel or not. Now here, a company want to sell a product without stepping on someone else's live patent. Now, what happens if I make some product and I want to sell it? The most important thing is to understand whether there is any alive patent on this same product or not. If what happen if there is a patent and I just sell the product without thinking about a patent, so that patent company can sue me and it will huge loss for me. I should withdraw all the products from the market and I have to pay a huge amount to the company also. So that's why before selling a product into the market, the clients came to us to know whether I can sell this product in market or not. And for that also, we do a research, we find a prior art, we find all the things that are existed till the date. If there is anything that is similar to the technology or the similar to the product that client is want to sell, then we'll make a report for the client that yes, we have a prior art on this and we cannot sell this product. Now what the client do, either client take a license from that company so that the client can sell that product, or the second option is invalidity search. Client asks us to find something before that patent so that their patent will invalidate. If there is something else we found before the patent, what happened? That patent is not as first granted. So that's why another type of search here works, that is invalidity search. So its purpose is to answer one very important question. Should this patent have been granted in the first place? In some simple words, we search for older evidence such as patents, research papers, books, or any published document that existed before the patent filing date and shows that the invention was not actually new. And why do companies perform this search? Sometimes a granted patent blocks another companies from launching its product or becomes the reason for a lawsuit. If they can find strong earlier evidence, they may be able to challenge or even cancel that patent. And this type of search is commonly requested by the generic pharmaceutical companies or the companies involved in patent litigation. So let me explain with another example. Suppose a company receive a patent for a diclofenac gel formulation and stop other companies from selling similar product. Now another company perform an invalidity search. During the search, they discover a research paper that is published in 1990 and describe the same gel formulation, and it was published before the patent was filed. So this old publication become a prior art. Now what happened? Their patent will invalidate, and if the patent is invalidate, then client is free to launch their product or sell their product. So this type of search that we are doing in companies like Gravy as a research analyst. Now, that is the next is to understand like what actually a patent analyst do in a typical day. One thing to remember is that no two projects exactly the same. Most of the project, but all the project have a 6 basic steps. I never get the same type of patents. Sometimes I got a pharma related patent. Sometimes I got any medical device patent. So the patents are always different. We can never get the same patents in this domain. So the first step that we do, but the steps are usually same. So first step that we do is read. A patent analyst spends a lot of time in reading patents, research papers, and technical documents to understand the technology, because this is very important to understand. If you don't read the patent carefully, if you don't understand the technology, then it will be very difficult to find a prior art on this, right? So this is the foundation of the entire project. The second step is strategize. It means after understanding the invention, we decide how to search. We identify the important keywords, synonyms, classification codes, and create various Boolean operators, search strings using terms like and or not to get accurate results. So we make extensive, strings, and we run those strings in our internal tools like Orbit, Derwent, and we get thousands of patents. Now, a search may return thousands of patents, but not all of them are useful, right? So we carefully read the titles, abstracts, and claims to filter out irrelevant documents and keep only the most relevant ones. The fourth step is to compare. Here we compare the client's invention with the patent we found, right? So we look the similarities, differences, identify what makes the invention unique. Last thing is discussion. So patent analysis is often a team effort. Analysts discuss their finding with colleagues to make sure that nothing important has been missed and that the conclusion are accurate. And finally, report. All the findings are summarized in a clear and simple report so that the client can make informed decisions, such as whether to file a patent, modify the invention, or proceed with the product development. So this report is actually the summary of everything that we get, or it is used as evidence in a court as well. The most surprising part of this job you can see at the bottom of slide. Like many people think a patent analyst spend the whole day time in typing into a search engines, and that's not true. In reality, most of the day is spent reading, analyzing, comparing, and thinking. And the search itself is not a small part. The real value comes from understanding the technology and drawing the right conclusions. So if you enjoy solving the puzzles, learning new technologies every day, and thinking critically, so this can be a very exciting career for you. So many of you might be thinking like, what skills do I need to become a patent analyst? So yes, pharmacy students are already eligible for this job. You can apply for pharma for this patent research analyst job. So, but the main three categories are, uh, as I already told you, you should have. Yes, 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 they can also apply. They can also apply. Here, I focused more on pharma students, but yes, if you have a degree, whether it is a graduation, any type of graduation, if you are having, you can apply for a patent research analyst job. Okay. So the second is a technical or IP skills. Like once you join the industry, you will learn how to search patent databases, read the patent claims, use CPC and IPC classification code to find relevant patents. And the good thing is that these are practical skills that can be learned with training and experience. But one thing that you can do, you can definitely, before applying for this job, you should open a Google patent where you type any of the invention name, where whatever is your interest, you can type, you read the whole patent. It will very helpful for you because you know like how the claims are written in the patent document. And it's very tricky. If you read the claims of the patent, the language is very tricky. It's very difficult to understand what actually they want to tell. Right? So this is very important before you are going to apply any job as a research analyst in patent field. You should read a patent before going for an interview. And third thing is a mindset. In my opinion, this is the most important part. A good patent analyst should be curious because every project involves learning something new. You should be creative, as we discussed earlier, to think beyond obviousness. You also need analytical thinking to compare invention and identify small but important differences. And finally, a clear communication is essential because you have to explain complex technical information in a simple way for clients and inventors. So it's a client dealing role. You have directly whatever you have found, whatever report you made, you directly convey that report to the client. So these things are very important. This mindset is very important for anyone who want to apply for this role. So now that we have understood different parts of, you know, what we need for a for to apply as a patent analyst. So the last part is that the patent analysts are like a detectives. Our job is not just to read patents. Our job is to understand the patents behind the
Hello, hello. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, give me a second. I'll.
Sorry for the disruption. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let's continue. Okay, so where did we last? Okay, yes. So here, uh, I was telling you like who can apply for this patent research role. So anyone who is having the bachelor's degree can be eligible for this job. Apart from this master's student in pharmacology, medicinal chemistry, pharmaceutical formulation, even the BDS and BAMS students are also eligible for this role. Now, if I'm talking about second thing, that is technical and IP field. So yeah, the students should have the knowledge of this thing like patent searching, reading claims and databases like CPC and IPC codes, because before you apply for this type of role, as all these things will be learned before learn after after you join the this particular role as a patent research analyst. But uh, but still, it's my suggestion for all of you, if you apply for this type of role, just go and read one patent fully, like its claims, description, and everything, so that you can understand the basic of the patent, like what are the things that patent include. Also, the claim language of the patent is very complicated, very difficult, very tricky. So you should have a basic idea of all these things, although these things will be trained during during your training in a company. But yeah, you should have a basic knowledge. And the most important thing, as per my opinion, is a mindset. So good patent analyst should be curious, means because every project involves learning something new. You should ask more and more questions. More you ask, more clarity you will get. You should have curiosity for everything, because here you have to find the prior art, and there is not a simple way like if you search here you will definitely get a prior art. No, you have to use your mind. You should be curious. You ask as many questions as you can, and then you search. Even I would say even a movie dialogue can be used as a prior art. If it exists before the date of the patent, it can be used as a prior art. So you should always be so attentive, so curious or creative. So these are the two things. In interview also, these two things are very important. The first one is curiosity and second is the creativity. In many of the interviews, they ask the questions like, can you tell me the 10 uses of a broken pen? And they will give you a 1 minute for that. So creativity is also very important because we cannot get a prior art easily. The third one is analytical thinking, to compare the invention and identify the small but important differences. And finally, a clear communication is very essential, because you have to explain the complex technical information in a simple way for clients and inventors. So whatever you make, it's a client facing role. You have to explain this to client also. So this should be the mindset if you want to apply for this role, that is patent analyst. Now, what are the key takeaways? So the first takeaway is that patent analysts are like detectives. Our job is not just to read patents, but we investigate, compare evidence, and solve the problems. And every project is like solving a new puzzle, because you will never get the same type of patents again. Every time you will get a new patent, and it's like a new puzzle for you. And second takeaway is that we learned about 4 different type of patent searches: prior art search, patentability search, freedom to operate, and invalidity search. Although their purpose are different, but they all require the same core skills: searching, analyzing, and making logical decisions. The third takeaway is that thinking is more important than memorizing. In today's world, information is available everywhere. What companies value is your ability to ask the right questions, analyze the information, and think creatively to solve the problems. And finally, remember that patent analysis is where science meets the business. As pharmacy students, you understand the science. As patent analysts, you use the scientific knowledge to help companies to protect their innovation, avoid the legal risk, and make better businesses decisions. So If you enjoy the science and love learning new things like solving puzzles, patent analysis can be a rewarding career for you. So, thank you all for being such a wonderful audience. I hope today's session has given you a clear understanding of what patent analysis is and encourage some of you to explore this exciting career path. Thank you so much. That's all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, sure. No, 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 that's not necessary. You can apply. So, whatever field, whatever you are graduated from, whatever field, you can apply for this role. It's not specific because as a pharmacology student, I get I got so many, irrelevant patents. They are very less from pharmacology itself. So yes, you can apply. नहीं नो इसके लिए कोई आपको कोर्स नहीं करना पड़ेगा यू कैन अप्लाई इन कंपनीज देयर इज एग्जाम फॉर पेटेंट एजेंट that is completely different from this role. So patent agent generally write a patent, whole patent. And here we are not writing a patent. We are helping clients to prevent their innovations from any kind of risk, right? So yes, this is completely different from patent agent. So no exam is there. It is also okay because I have already told you that there are two three things that we need: creativity and curiosity. You should be creative. You should be curious. That is very important because the course itself, if you are joining Gravy as a patent research analyst, they will train you for 2 3 months, and at that time is enough for you to understand the whole process. There is no need of any separate course for that. You can apply online also if there is any vacancy available, or you can, give your CV to someone who's already working there. So yes, by reference also you can do this thing. So same, you just apply in a company and you will give interview, then selected and got it, will get a job. So for master student, it is 6 LPA, but yeah, the hikes are very good because it is client facing role. Even if you are performing average, you will get 10 to 15% hikes every year. Which patent? Which company? So there are various companies like Gravy, Clarivet, Sagacious IP. So other companies you will search, you can search on Google also, but these are the companies that are near to, North India that I know. The Sagacious and Clarivet in New Delhi. So yeah, you can apply. Thank you so much, Payam. Thank you. Thank you all.